Hello, so I wanted to do this video as part of the course requirement, but also to highlight some of the areas for the nutrition class. So it's Food and Nutrition 35 and Food and Nutrition 40. 35 is a little bit more introductory class where we look at nutrition's role in our overall health and well-being. And FN40 is more focused on the health and well-being aspect, but also more on the digestion and metabolism of our macronutrients of protein, carbohydrates, and fat. So I have created this module within our course that we have had with Tracy, which has been really helpful because it makes it a little bit more manageable. But I wanted to go through, I wrote down just kind of the list that we're going through, and I have our welcome letter. So I have a welcome letter to the students that is just basically welcoming them to the class, either FN35 or FN40, which I'll update because I'll be instructing on both of those next semester, and then also the section number that I'll have to update. It gives them a little definition of what nutrition is and kind of what they can anticipate, and then also provides them with their required text that they need. I'm also working with the bookstore to get some additional text for the class, so I'll add that. And then if they have any needs for additional help or expectations, and also what to anticipate during the first week, and my contact information, office hours. So that is what is included in my welcome letter. So now if I go back and show them just the different course policies, so I have it broken down by communication policies and then also participation and drop policies. So they can click on that and review it. So this is just kind of how I will interact with them and how they can interact with me as well. So I have it from that I'll check emails from Tuesday through Friday because I also do have a full-time position. So I want to make sure that it's very manageable and that they know the clear expectations of what I can provide for them as well. Our main communication source will be either through Canvas, emails. I will do Slack. I think it's a great forum to really keep up to date with students, and then also their interaction with other students. I have participation and drop policies, so they are required to participate in the class. Since I can't see them face to face, I want to make sure that they are participating in our group forums and that they're providing their input into our class. And then also kind of my late work policy. I'm not accepting any late work, and then also the dates and the deadlines for their drop policy. So I'll have to update those based on the semester that we're in as well. So the next is student resources, and this was added by Tracy, so thank you very much. So our student resources that are at Clovis Community College, so for those students that are in Clovis or Fresno or the surrounding area, these are all resources that they can access. And I also, so this was already pre-programmed into this page, but I also wanted to add the health services. So I'm nutrition and wellness, so I wanted to make sure that they knew where they could access health services for a variety of reasons. And they also added psychological services because I know that a lot of students are very much so struggling with a lot of different dynamics, whether it be in school or their home or just transition overall. So I wanted to make sure that they had that information to use that as a resource provided to them. So after that, we are going to be going into overview with pages. So let me just scroll down to where we will be going. So my first section is what is nutrition. So nutrition is a very hot topic with a lot of different opinions, but nutrition is a science, and so I will be teaching nutrition as a science. So I provided the students with an overview of what they can anticipate within the class, and then also some objectives that we will be looking at within the first module. So I'll provide them with objectives during each module, and then I'll also provide them with a page overview to make sure that they are very clear as far as what the expectations are and what they should know to ultimately not only pass the course from, you know, quizzes and exams, but also just what I think would be really great general knowledge to be able to carry them through their lifetime. So that is the overview. I also do have the accessibility content. So this is for anyone that has any disabilities or any additional needs. I have formatted it per the requirements. I think some of the big differences is just making sure that the bullet points are there per specification, so A, B, C, D, and then also making sure that the assignments are provided within a chart format so that it's all succinct and fits within the same page, and that students can also zoom into it and it still remains very clear to the visual eye. So I have provided that. Let's see, and then interaction. Interaction is another one that I am showing here as far as interactive expectations. So really what I'm looking at for this course is we're going to mainly be using Canvas as our main interactive guide. I will be having, you know, obviously be in contact via emails. That's going to be the main contact source for students that have any questions related to the course, and then I can make additional accommodations for those that need to really get on the phone or maybe do a Zoom session. That can also be a possibility. Slack, I think, is a great platform where we can constantly keep in contact, whether it be via myself or with other students, and then also video submission. So I do have part of their dietary analysis that they can receive extra credit if they submit a video that's describing kind of what they learned and kind of their takeaways from that assignment. So they have to compare what their dietary intake looks like compared to the national standards, which is always very eye-opening. So I think it's great to be able to have that video and for them also to be able to interact within that platform. So they do have those expectations. From a formative assessment with a rubric, so I put that during our section 1. Because they're really looking at fad diets and weight loss. So they are critically providing research information. They are providing what the fad diet is saying, and then they're going to compare that to the nutrition recommendations that are based in science. So I provided them with an overview of what that assignment looks like, and then also the criteria, the ratings, and the point system that they would be graded on. From a summative assessment, so that's really going to be their biggest assessment for the semester, and I absolutely love doing this assignment because it's really eye-opening for them. I'd like to give it to them very much so up front in the semester so that they have time to really not procrastinate as much as they probably will, which I'm a total procrastinator, so I understand, but also from I want them to be able to have the information. So this is really their biggest assignment. It's worth the most points. It's allowing them to look at their dietary intake for 14 days, and then it's allowing them to compare that to the national standards and the national recommendations. And then they have to provide me with how they think that they are doing. So they're going to compare themselves to the national recommendations and then say, are they doing well? Are they not doing well? Do they need to maybe increase physical activity, or are they spot on with the recommendations? Are they over? So it's really their ability to, one, take in the national recommendations, two, compare it to what their current lifestyle looks like, and then also really critically think about how can I better my lifestyle so that I am living the healthiest life that I possibly can. So that's what this assignment is all about. They're going to be tracking their dietary intake from both food and beverages for 14 days. They're going to be comparing it to the dietary guidelines for Americans, My Plate, and then also national standards for physical activity. And then I want them to tell me what they've learned from it and how they compare to those recommendations. So that is one of their biggest assignments. I give it up front, usually during week 2, week 3, so that they know what they're looking for and so they can kind of keep an eye out for the information they will be provided during lecture and how that relates to that ultimate assignment. I also do have, I started doing the recap page, so that's in section 1, so I'll be providing that during each section. But the recap page is really looking at what we talked about during each section and making sure that they feel comfortable and very confident in the information that they have received. And then if they don't feel that they've met those objectives, that's a great opportunity for them to reach out to me, or for me to at least ask them, how are you doing with this? Do you have any questions? Was this information provided to you in a clear fashion? And so really I provide them with a recap page of what they will be learning during that section, along with the objectives that they should have learned during our time together. After that, I do have, let's see, we already went over the formative assessment. So then after that, I do have, after digestion, absorption, and transportation, I do have the student course survey, because usually after digestion, absorption, and transportation is where I lose most students. So I want to make sure that we're all on the same track and that no one is left behind. And if there's questions, that they can feel free to ask those questions, because usually if one person has the question, several other people have it. So I put the student course survey in after digestion and transportation and metabolism, and I really like the idea of having it probably like 5 or 6 weeks later, so that we can really make sure that we're all on the same page. But I'm asking them if everything is well, if they are understanding the concepts clearly, if they are reading all directions, because that's a big one. How are they giving themselves enough time to finish the assignments? Because sometimes I think that they think that the assignments are a little bit easier, and then once we actually get into that, it becomes a lot harder and there's a lot more detail. And then also, what can I do as an instructor that would help them? What are some positives in the course, and what are some areas that need improvement? So that would be their opportunity to be able to submit that for the course. Let's see. So I think that goes over all of the aspects of my course. I am still going to be building them, so I still have the sections that I am addressing and breaking down based on the semesters. But that is a quick summary of what my course will look like for those students that are taking FN 35 and FN 40. All right. Thanks so much for this opportunity. I appreciate it. Bye.